tutorial on how I made the head. It's not done yet, but for now he's looking pretty good. There's a lots of things that I want to change that I will of course mention, and I'm gonna update you on those in another coming video, the last video about the head possibly. Depends on what else I have to change about it, so let's get right into it. I'm gonna structure this video in segments. There will be the first segment, the first part, where I explain you how the base is made. Then there will be a part of how I shape-shifted the base. Then the eyes, nose, and teeth. And then I guess some other insights. 3-4 parts about that, yeah. So, how I made the base. If you'd be looking inside, you see there is foam. I basically bought these big foam sheets. They're like very big. What I then did to get the standard base, because when I want to put this head on my head, it should fit on right snugly. So how I did that is I'm just gonna use this piece as an example. So basically I took some foam, strapped it around my head until it fits. You know, just roll it on the head. You know, just that it snugly fits. Not too tight that your head's getting squished the whole time. Just like that it snugly fits on. If it's like too loose, you can afterwards just add some more foam inside. And like I made it too tight, I just cut some foam off. I then had this one first thin layer of foam, and I then basically created a band that I cut some triangles into. I will put in now a clip from the past me that already explained you how I did that. Basically, I took foam, made a cylinder, and then curved it in with like spikes. Imagine this paper is the foam. You know, this is the foam. I then simply drew a line, then made some spikes. Yeah? Made like these spikes, bit smaller, and when handling such tools, be careful. Then I basically have cut this off. No? I have these spikes, and if you roll this to a cylinder, and you then just glue them like this, so then has this kind of cone shape, or it rounds itself off on top. That's how he is made. I'm also of course trying my best to post like pictures or spaces so you see how past this. If you want to like look at those pictures more in detail, they're all for free on Patreon, and if you're already there, become a free member. Maybe also like and subscribe. Then after you got this cone head shape like this, after you have a basic head shape, I then completely did it again, put another foam on top of that to make it even thicker. Did the same on top, so it's like a really thick head, really chunk. And from then on, I basically used one of these whiteboard markers. I don't know why, but I just used them. I couldn't erase them anyways, but like I could easily just mark on all the cuts. Like you got the side cuts, there's one on the back, or mark on the eyes. You'll see some pictures how I painted that stuff on. After like planning out how I'm gonna cut the eyes and stuff, I then basically just straight up cutted all the things and hoped it would look correct and accurate. And literally was just like, yup, I'm just gonna do it. I hope it looks good too. That was like before the FNAF movie released, where I only saw trailers. Well, after I got the head with the cuts and everything cut it out, then I looked around to find a fur that looked the most accurate and I could get nearby somewhere for cheap. I didn't plan on ordering any expensive one, I just used cheap blankets that I bought somewhere nearby. And honestly, they look good, I'm happy with it. It's of course not perfectly movie accurate, because mine is furry, like really like has hair, whilst the one in the movie isn't really that hairy. Then after I got the fur, I glued it on top. I already explained you how I glued the thing on. Like basically the tutorial for the arm. When you click on the top right, there will be a info card where the video will be of how I glued it basically on. It's same for the arm and the whole body and the head. After you have the fur, you just like have these empty spots for the cuts, the eyes, the ears, and stuff. All these empty holes. Then you're gonna fill them, of course. So I'm now gonna talk about the eyes. I worked many prototypes on how to make the eyes look the best, and they still don't look as good as I want them to. I already made a little tutorial of how I made the eyes. Go check that out in the info card. Then after I put the eyes inside and I hoped I glued them on correctly, I noticed a problem that you should also pay attention to. There's a difference. There's a thing where when you not wear it, that the head stretches out a little bit, which then makes the eyes a bit wonky. So what I would suggest is using some thick like copper wire and making putting like a wire through here so that the eyes are strong here, like strongly glued on there, which I haven't done yet, which I wanna do soon, because like these eyes are really wobbly. The jaw, it's still a very shitty hinge that I've just scrapped together. I'm still gonna think of like a special design one, really simply to 3D print. For now, just use some old scrap pieces of plastic that go off the side down and have holes. Basically, you see the plastic piece that goes down has a hole and the jaw is connected to. And the problem also is you can't just simply put it on. It will be these plastic things, so you have to stretch the head outwards to put it on, you know, just like stretch it off. Which, when gluing it on, I thought it's not too big of a problem. Well, it is. So I'd probably think of a design of moving the hinge from down there to like inside. The teeth, I have basically just 3D printed rectangles and then spray painted them white. Then after I spray painted them on the like top, like bottom part, you could say, I drilled two holes inside with my Dremel, and in those holes I put a little bit of a wire so that the teeth basically go inside with the wires and are strong connected. It's not perfect. Something that I'd rather wanna do is like you print one giant piece and you just glue that on there so it's always perfect. But I haven't done that yet, since I didn't know much of the dimensions when I made the teeth. So I have lots of updates still that I gotta do with this. And of course, with you guys, the community, you guys also could help make things, or like have ideas. If you have any ideas of how I can make the hinge and stuff, just put them in the comments. I'll read all the comments that you put down there. The nose, it's I already have another piece that it's not the same one, but like it's similar one. What I did is print this nose piece that's all the models are on Patreon for free to download, and then I drilled 3 holes inside and also got this wire to stick all these 3 off. With that, I then made some holes, sticked it inside and glued it. And I glued most of the things with hot glue. For the head, you'll probably like need 50 sticks. That's what I found out. You could also like have other solutions of gluing the fur on, like through spray glue, which would be probably better. But I never really tried it because I'm just scared that it really simply rips off, which is really hard to do with hot glue. Then one thing that I haven't talked about in the videos, in the video where the eyes are made, I didn't talk about the eyelids. How are they made? I have like this yellow tape basically, it's like plastic rubbery. And when I saw this I was like, this is kind of perfect. I can make cuts with it. The eyelids, it's really good. So I'd suggest you also getting like such a yellow tape. It's like duct tape, but you know. What I then did is to make them really sturdy. So what I did is basically take this tape, fold it like this, so there's no glue surfaces because it's glued together. I then poured hot glue on there, then I shut it. So it's basically thick tape with hot glue inside, which I could then, through it being like plasticky, it was really movable. I could just lay on top, and it would then, if I hold it long enough, it would have then stayed in that position and become hard, because that's how hot glue works. That are the eyelids. The cuts, I already talked about the cuts, how I made those in the previous head show off, I could say. In the previous video where I showed updates on the head, I talked about how the cuts are made. If you want to know how I made all the cuts, just click on the info card on the top right and there should be the video suggested to how some part of the head and the cuts. Then after you have all the cuts and stuff, there will be one thing missing, of course, the ears. So how I made the ears, I wanted to make originally a video tutorial about how I made the ears, but what I did is 3D print some special pieces. I'm just gonna put a picture on the screen so you see how the pieces look like. Then what I did is spray paint them basically silver to give them this metallic hinge ass looking, and I find this really good. It fits, and I would say this fits really well. It gives off that correct look for the hinges. Something that also is important that I didn't talk of yet, the electronics. I will also make a better updated version soon for the head electronics. And whilst then I'm also gonna talk about the electronics, I'm also gonna talk about the voice changer. So stay tuned for that, because that's gonna be really fun. Now, you will have a very clean looking, non-painted head. And most of the time whilst making, I used some reference pictures from the trailer and now from the movie. And I've also used some reference videos from Darko's review, like visiting the FNAF movie set at around minute mark. And in the second part, in the second part on minute 7, you see the whole cosplay head and very detailed stuff. So if you want like good references, I'd suggest this video. You will have unpainted version. What I did to make it dirty, what I tried on like doing, which was simple for everyone to do, was I took some water, put acrylic paint in there, like mixed some brown, black and stuff, make like dirty water, and as test piece I used the smallest thing, and I then dunked this inside and didn't back out. And I don't know, it looks like, genuinely, if you want him to look like he just took a bathe in a river, this is the best look you can get. But personally, it needs more like a dry look. Like this, just dunked in dirty water. No, that doesn't work correctly. What I would suggest instead is, which of course is quite dangerous because it runs on gas that's very easily flammable, is an airbrush. I got this from my grandpa. You can watch the YouTube short to that. And basically, you just put some black paint mixed a little bit with water, and make sure it is some black paint that is mixable with water, because some aren't. Also, I saw this airbrush from 1995 is literally 15 bucks. The gas for that is around 17 bucks for 750 milliliter, which is enough for the whole costume, because this still feels like it has lots of liquid in it, and the whole upper body is already spray painted done. Just actually explain how airbrush works, because something I still gotta do is clearly not even painted black at all. So you will take whatever paint you do, what then I did is, to get this out, I of course first filled it up a little bit with water, I used some random cup. This cup is actually from the gas, the cap, and it just works. I will take some of this and pour it inside. This will be a very painful process. Of course, don't forget to clean off all the equipment. If it's still like in liquid state, it's very easily to wash it off. I gotta close this. Best way I found to close it again. Also make sure that like the outside is no paint. If so, clean it off too. I would suggest getting yourself some kitchen thing. Just, you know, clean this off. Entire outside of it. Take your hand, put it on top of here, you know, just make it a tight seal, and then just take it. Which of course will make your hand a bit dirty, but like, if you're fast enough, cleaning it off, and don't forget to use some fresh water to clean it off. If you're like fast enough, you won't have a too dirty hand. See, it's like all clean again. Now, screw it of course, super simply on. Make sure to have this opened. It's on this here says plus and minus. I just screw it until I hear like a... Until I will screw this open until I hear a noise. I don't know if the microphone picked it up, but it goes like... After that, I know. Just... See? Now it's working. So yeah, like this, and this. Yeah, it's a good enough cut. Oh well. That's basically how to then color it a bit darker too, with an airbrush. And I'm just gonna use up all the rest on the body. Yeah. After you have used up all the paint, or you just like really have nothing more to paint, you can literally just clean this off. Before unscrewing this, I would suggest pressing the button until it's off, and don't forget to close the container. Then you will have to clean this entire part. Well, after that is done, completely cleaned off, also worth notable, this gas is flammable. So best is to open your window whilst spray painting and have fresh air circulating. Back to the head. Well, after that all is done, you should have this head. If you want me to literally make one of these in camera, I probably will make in the future one normal edition, just string Bonnie. But for now, that's how he's made, or how I made him. If there's any more questions, like if I have forgotten about some part, like you want to see some details about some things I have not mentioned, if there are more questions, go right, put them in the comments, I'll answer them, no problem, don't be shy. And that's how I made the head. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe so I can see that you guys like what I do. And see you another time. Gonna have the same kind of fun with Mattel's Tommy First detective set. The Tommy First. That's the cut. The cut.